Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. And no, this isn't a dream. This is a Saturday morning. We are talking tennis, ATP Tour tennis, with our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Good morning to you, Sean.
Good morning. You all right?
I'm very, very well.
Very well.
Yeah,
good.
I'm good. The sun's shining. We haven't had any rain yet where we are. There's a lot of thunderstorms around the
coming.
UK. It's coming. I know it's still quite
dry. It'll be coming. I'll tell you when it's coming. It'll be coming exactly at some point where I'm stuck in a queue somewhere between a train station and Wembley later on tonight. That's when it's coming.
That's 100%
I guarantee that.
Coming. Yeah, you're off to the Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois fight tonight.
I am.
Big fight up in London at Wembley Stadium.
Yes, indeed.
Who got you the tickets for that then?
Contact of mine got them. Yeah,
lovely.
Nice guy actually. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yes, thank you very much. You wouldn't pay me to get out of Wembley Stadium. I've given you a little tip, and if anyone's watching this tonight, go to Wembley Stadium tube station or train station.
Don't tell everybody.
Yeah,
don't be telling people.
Millions of people watch this, so we'll be watching it. But if you're at Wembley, give Sean a little catch up. He'll be there. Club level as well. Enjoying it up there. You'll have a nice few drinks. Don't have to queue for toilets at club level. It's fantastic. Best thing. And at our age, that's very important.
That is a low selling point for me. As a bloke, you don't tend to have to queue for toilets anyway, do you? Unless you're at Indian Wells on a Saturday, in which case you've got no chance.
95,000 fight fans.
Yeah, but
they queue for toilets, and usually they queue for the toilet that nobody expects, with the actual proper queue, rather than the other one. But
we're in the middle tier, though, aren't we? I'll be honest. I've not been to Wembley since West Brom lost to Derby in the playoff final 2007.
Well, it's changed a bit since then.
I'm guessing that was the early days of the new Wembley, I think, if memory serves me correctly. But I don't know where the seats are or whatever, but I think it's quite decent, hopefully. So
middle section.
Yeah, we've got a bit of Liam Gallagher.
Yep.
So I hear.
Yeah, all good. So enjoy the boxing tonight. Head across to the Bet Rivers website. They'll have prices on all the boxing tonight. Not only the Dubois fight and Anthony Joshua, but a great undercard as well, and everything we covered on Bet Rivers. Sean might even do a little bit on the Instagram page. You might put a little picture up there.
I might do a bit about the queuing if there's going to be some
on the way.
crazy queue.
Have a look at
people love to see my misery, don't they, on Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
It's the biggest part of everyone's day. The only trouble is this is another thing, and this is something you will definitely moan about. 100% you moan about. Wembley Stadium is sponsored by a mobile phone network, and you cannot get a signal in there. You can about an hour and a half before the big fight or the match, but literally during the you won't get one.
I can't get a mobile signal at Southend United when there's about 2,000 people there. So the chances of me getting anything at Wembley, unless there's some Wi-Fi situation, the chances of me getting anything is absolutely zero. So I might not be able to put anything up, or if I do, it'll be about 4 hours later.
Yeah. And a little tip for you, if you are struggling for Wi-Fi, just stand by the bins. You can get good Wi-Fi from the bins.
That only works at Wimbledon. Okay. It's not going to work at Wembley.
Enough about boxing, enough about Wimbledon, enough about Wembley. It's all about China. It's all about tennis. And we have 4 matches to discuss today. 2 matches in Chengdu and 2 matches to discuss in the other venue, which I can't remember off the top of my head. Where's the other one again? It's Hangzhou. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Okay, let's have a look at the matches we are discussing. It's quarterfinal day on these are matches for Sunday. And delighted to say our 20-1 pick, Yannick Hanfmann, has made it through to the quarterfinals, and he's a favourite to make the semi-finals, which is good for us. He's up against Pedro Martinez. -139 is the price for Hanfmann. He was our pick at 20-1. Martinez
22-1 win the end, remember?
Yeah, 22. Yeah, I forgot that. 22-1. Plus 112 is for Martinez. Spread is 1.5. Total is 22.5. If you look at the head-to-head, it's a good omen for us. Hanfmann has won 2 of the 3 meetings, and he won the last match they played. Their records this year on hardcourt are pretty much the same. Both have won 7 tour matches, and Martinez is the much higher ranked opponent, and unfortunately in the build up to this match there has been a little bit of money for Martinez, and currently Bet Rivers' offer of plus 112 is the best you will find in the marketplace. Are you worried?
Am I worried? I'm always worried.
Right.
I can live in a constant state of worried about these things. I mean, it's Hanfmann or bust for us this week, isn't it? So
well, that's a cause to be worried.
Yeah, if you're relying on Hanfmann as your kind of your big profit possibility, then you're not in a great situation. But I mean, look, he should be winning this in these conditions. I mean, he crushed Martinez on clay at altitude in Santiago last season, but the season before, I think it was, he got beat by Martinez at the same tournament, 6-2, 6-2. I mean, their head-to-head is weird, isn't it? They've played 6 sets. 5 of them have ended 6-2, and the other one ended 6-love.
Yeah.
So, and all 3 of their matches have ended in under 16.5 games. So, it's a strange head-to-head. I mean, both of these guys love playing at altitude. You know, particularly Hanfmann. He's always had his best results at altitude, generally on clay. There aren't many quicker court tournaments around that are at altitude. I mean, Stuttgart is one, which isn't huge altitude, but it's about the same as this. And obviously this one, Chengdu. I can't think of many more off the top of my head. Generally, they're at clay. They're on clay at the altitude events, which just gives Hanfmann a bit more time. And for Martinez, because he's a sort of bit of a grinding style, the altitude just gives him a little bit more pop on his serve and the forehand. It just makes things a little bit easier for him to generate power. But the flip side of that is Hanfmann will have much, much more power in these conditions. It's just a case of whether he can harness it or not on the day. And I think that's why you've had some of these lopsided results. You know, if Hanfmann plays well, you could see him winning this pretty easy. If he doesn't, you could also see Martinez winning it, you know, just benefiting from all the mistakes that Hanfmann makes, if that's going to be the case. I wouldn't be backing Martinez in these conditions. I mean, he's never been past the quarterfinal of any main-level hard court event in his career, and he's lost 13 of his last 19 main-level matches on hard courts against top 100 opponents. So there's no form, there's no history at all of Martinez doing well in these conditions, and it's understandable why. He is a clay dog at the end of the day, and he hasn't transferred particularly well to hard courts, you know, in his career. He also hasn't had much time to acclimatise, having played Davis Cup in Spain on Sunday, lost pretty comfortably to it's a similar style of player, really, in Popyrin, big serve, big forehand, just overpowered Martinez, and Hanfmann was here in China, in Zhuhai, playing and winning in the Davis Cup. So it's all a good situation for Hanfmann. It feels like it's on his racket. If he plays his best tennis, or somewhere close to his best tennis, it should be enough in these conditions to beat Martinez. If he doesn't, it probably won't. It's kind of as simple as that. As far as betting's concerned, I mean, we're already on Hanfmann, but if he plays well, you feel like 2-0 to him is a very real possibility at plus 170 with Bet Rivers. Or if you like Martinez, I wouldn't be taking plus 112, or even if it's that, it might be shorter than that from what you were saying. I'd potentially go for the 2-1 to him. He feels like if he's going to win it, it's probably going to be a grind, and I can't see him winning it in straights unless Hanfmann has an absolute shocker. So plus 360 about Martinez winning it 2-1 is a possibility if you want to be backing the Spaniard. But this is a match that Hanfmann should be winning in these conditions.
There are 32 available markets on this match, and the match starts very early on Sunday morning, 1 a.m. You'll be able to live stream the match on the Bet Rivers app or on the website. Total games is the one I was quite interested in, under 22.5, which was minus 109, because the head-to-head record does suggest that if someone wins, it's going to be a complete blowout. So an interesting one there. No official play on the Hanfmann match, but we do have that big ticket on Hanfmann to win this tournament at 22-1, and he's looking quite good. He's a favourite to make to semi-finals, and then he's got a great chance to make the final. And obviously with each way, we get 11-1 about the German to make the final. Let's move on to our second quarter-final. It's a man who is very good at altitude, Nicolas Jarry, but he's had a very, very poor year. And he's up against an opponent that I know very, very little about. Alibek Kachmazov is
I thought you were going to say I know a lot about him then.
I know
the way
nothing
that you
about
that
him.
Up.
I don't know much about Jarry, but let alone the Kachmazov. Nicolas Jarry he's had a shocking run of form, but he's come back with a win in the last round to set this match up against Klein. Coming into this tournament, he'd lost 8 matches on the bounce, 7 or 8 matches on the bounce. He hadn't won since the Rome semi-final when he got beat by Zverev in the final. But Jarry's a favourite here, minus 167. He's obviously the player with the higher calibre. He's the higher world ranking. He's up against this Russian 22-year-old who's ranked just outside the top 250 in the world. Doing unbelievable to reach the quarterfinal here. Plus 135, Kachmazov. Spread is 2.5. Total very high, 23.5. And that is what you see consistently on Jarry matches. The line is always very, very high on his totals. Kachmazov has come through qualification to make the quarterfinals. So he beat Tara Daniel in straight sets. He beat Kovacic in straight sets as well. So he has impressed, and he is also attracting money. Plus 135 with Bet Rivers is currently, again, the best price for the dog in this match you'll find in the whole world. So Jarry, a very heavy favourite, Bet Rivers, and Kachmazov, biggest price, but I think expect the Russian to be bet here.
Yeah, I mean, Jarry's had problems recently. That's why he's not done anything really since Rome. He's had vestibular neuritis, which has been a big problem for him. It's something I know a fair bit about, actually, because Natasha suffers from vestibular condition. It's like an inner ear infection. It causes dizziness, migraines, all this sort of stuff, and it can go on for a while. And Jarry's had that problem for quite some time now. It was the reason he wasn't picked to play Davis Cup, even though he was in the squad. And this was only last week. He was overlooked to play because the captain Nicolas Massus, they'd obviously had a chat, and he decided that he wasn't, fit enough or well enough or whatever to play. So, he's had problems. That's why he's not had decent results since Rome. The conditions here do suit Kachmazov. He's a very aggressive kind of player. He went on a similar sort of run this time last year in Astana, where even though it was slower, quite a lot slower in Astana than it is here, he beat Corentin Moutet, and he was very, very close to beating Adrian Manarino as well, who went on to win the title that week. So he's a flat hitter, plays aggressively. So he's the kind of player that I've said a few times this week is going to be well suited to the conditions in Chengdu. It's just a question of whether he can keep the errors down, because he is quite aggressive. When it comes off, like it did against Taro Daniel, then you get he's I wouldn't say unplayable, but he's very, very effective in these sort of conditions. Obviously, the conditions also suit Jarry as well. As you said, he's a guy that plays certainly on clay at altitude to his best sort of level, you would say. Jarry's got a pretty decent record on the Asian swing, 9-5 win-loss overall. Quarterfinals last year in both Shanghai and Beijing. So he's not a player that would see this part of the swing as a bit of a waste of time, as some of them do. I watched his match against Lucas Klein a couple of days ago, and it was extremely close. There was nothing between them at all. The reason that Jarry won was that Klein played an absolutely shocking service game. I think it was 4-5 down in the final set, and he just basically handed it to Jarry. But there was nothing in it. 93 points each scored. Service points won and return points won, totals 100 each. So it was just that poor game from Klein in the end that just gave it away to Jarry. Very, very close match. So given that Kachmazov is very effective in these conditions, and he's had, 3 games here already? 3 or 4 matches here already. Very used to the conditions. It feels like a set one overs kind of game to me. I was a little surprised that Bet Rivers put over 10.5 in at plus 155. I think that's probably where I'd go here. It's a bit tentative because Kachmazov can be a bit hit and miss, but I think that's probably where I'd go in this one.
Yeah, plus 155 is one of the 28 different markets available for set one overs, 10.5 plus 155. And the match starts again, like the first match we spoke about there in Chengdu, at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning Eastern time. Before we leave Chengdu, we just have to talk about the conditions. I'm watching the tournament here now. There seems to be a few more people in. Not packed house, but there seems to be a lot more people in also in the week. And is it still going to be hot, humid tomorrow?
They've gone for an ad break. They've gone for an ad break on my TV, so I can't see the stadium. But there's a few more. I suppose it's because it's the weekend, isn't it? I think that's what this was about. This Wednesday start. I think it was about getting people in to watch it at the weekend, because otherwise it would just be the final, I suppose, wouldn't it? In a normal week, well, semi-final and final. I don't know. For whatever, that was what it was about. Anyway, it was to do with spectators. How many more's in today? About 4.
There seems to be a good. Well, I couldn't really tell, but probably
10.
It's more than that. It's one side seems to be quite busy. The other side doesn't look busy at all. But there's a lot of people in. A lot more than was in the early of the week.
Well, there was literally nobody there in the week, was there? Yeah. The conditions, just looking at the weather here, actually, 32 degrees today, 32 tomorrow, 30 on Monday, 32 on Tuesday. That's just the pure temperature. Generally, with the humidity, it feels a little bit warmer than that as well. So still very, very hot conditions, conducive to big hitting and, quick balls flying quick through the court, yeah.
Let's move across to Hangzhou, where we have 2 quarterfinals as well. Conditions there, again, warm, humid, hot, fast.
Bit different actually in Hangzhou.
Oh, okay.
It's just it was. It's cooled down a little bit now. 26 it is only now. It'll feel a couple of degrees warmer with the humidity, but it's cloudy and they've had a bit of rain, so it's kind of broken the really high temperatures, so it's a little bit cooler at the minute.
Yep, and we have 2 quarterfinals for you tomorrow. Again, Sunday morning, early morning start. We'll start off with Yunchaokete up against Mikhail Kukushkin. Hijikata obviously didn't do very good for us in the. We opposed him in round 1 against Gaston, and he
Yunchaokete, this is.
Oh, sorry. What have I done?
You're getting confused with Hijikata, who's on next.
Well, I've got it wrong. Anyway, Yunchaokete. I knew I'd get this wrong, but Yunchaokete, not our friend this week, didn't do us any favours. He beat Gaston when we opposed him, and then he beat Kachmazov in the round of 16 when that was a strange match. I don't know if Kachmazov was injured or something, but. He looked like he was going to come back, and then he didn't perform at all in the 3rd set. But Yunchaokete is minus 186. Yunchaokete. Listen.
Yunchaokete.
Sure, you tell us who this guy is. I'm getting confused here. Yunchaokete and Kukushkin. Minus 186, Yunchaokete. Plus 148, Kukushkin. Spread 2.5. Total 22.5. Over to you, Mr. Calvert.
Right, yeah, it's definitely Yunchaokete Boo. He's definitely the one playing.
Okay.
Well, in this match anyway. I mean, he's been playing great. Very, very strong tennis this week. You feel like if he keeps up the level that he's played in the first couple of matches, he should be too strong for the 36-year-old veteran Kukushkin, especially in sort of hot and humid conditions. I know it's cooling down a little bit, but it's still pretty humid. It's not easy conditions to play in. I've watched both his matches so far. He's serving big, hitting very aggressively on the forehand, hitting a lot of winners and getting a lot of forced errors out of that forehand. And he's been super solid on the backhand as well. The only negative, I'd say, if you were thinking of backing him at minus 186, is that he's got a potential foot problem. He had the trainer out for that against Kachmazov. I'm not sure how serious that is. You would think that in the circumstances, it wouldn't be too much of a problem, given how highly motivated he's been this week so far. Unless he has a real drop in that level, it's just hard to see Kukushkin matching him over the best of 3 sets in these conditions. I mean, he's played pretty well, Kukushkin, to make his first main level quarterfinal since Astana in 2020. So it's been 4 years since he's been at this sort of level. Mainly been at the challenger level the last few years. Kukushkin playing pretty consistently, but not really winning. He's only won 1 challenger title in the last 6 years, so it's not like he's been winning titles on the challenger tour. He's just been reaching quarters and semis fairly regularly, keeping his ranking up, and he's taken this opportunity that he's been given, this rare opportunity that he's been given these days at ATP level. But this has got to be a fabulous opportunity for Boo with the home crowd such as there is. But as you said, there might be more in, given that this is a weekend now. He is getting a fair amount of support. Obviously, the people that are there are very much 100% behind him. And it was a good match against Kachmazov. I watched all of it. It felt like after that second set, you felt like Kachmazov was going to go up a gear and sort of take it, but he was just a bit passive. Kachmazov, a bit disappointing in that 3rd set, but you take nothing away from Boo. It was a decent match. Kachmazov didn't play poorly. The thing that annoyed me about Kachmazov was he just wouldn't come into the net when he was ahead in the point, which he doesn't do. He needs to do it. I've said this so many times about various players. He's certainly one that's guilty of it. He come in about 4 or 5 times, I think. Should have done it, 10, 15 times easily. He's got to win the point all over again after hitting a big forehand and getting Boo out of position. He's just hanging back on the baseline. He's got to win the point all over again. That's the criticism I would have of Kachmazov. But Boo played great, so I think he's going to be too much for Kukushkin if he stays at that level. So I'd be tempted with minus 2.5 games on Boo on the handicap here at minus 119. With Bet Rivers, that's 1.84 in decimal.
So no official play, just a lean?
I don't like backing favourites.
No.
It can go wrong. When it does go wrong, it's not a good look, is it?
Yeah, but you'd rather bet the favourite on the spread at minus 119 than take the minus 186 on the money line.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take minus 186.
You're not essentially taking the favourite, really, because it's more or less the price is the same on the spread, isn't it? It's not like you're saying you could bet a -$5 shot and bet him on the spread, and he could still win on the spread but lose the match.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to win. I'm not going to back him at that price. It's my idea, my thought is that he'll win this match. So whichever way you want to bet him, then that's it, really.
Yeah, you can look at sets, 2 sets to love, something like that, which is +130. Maybe get a little bit of value. Obviously, if he covers the -2.5, if he wins 2 sets to love, he'll cover the -2.5 unless it's a 7-6, 7-6. But Bo is the bet there. I'm going to call him Bo for argument's sake. Very, very simple.
You may as well.
Yeah, much easier.
It's Boo, actually.
Boo. I can't even get that right. Can't even get Bo right. Boo. Oh, God. Okay, I'm having a bit of a nightmare on the names here. Let's move on to the final match we are going to discuss. It's a game between Brandon Nakashima, who's had a fantastic year, against Rinky-Hijikata. Brandon Nakashima reached the last 16 at the US Open. Had some big wins, was excellent last week in the Davis Cup. Won all 3 of his matches. And he beat Wong in round 1. He's got a great record against Hijikata as well. 6-1, 6-4. In their only previous meeting in Houston in 2024, which was on the clay. -$5 though, Nakashima, +360 for Hijikata. 4.5 is the spread here, which does seem a little bit high. Nakashima is obviously playing well, and the market is reflecting that. And the total here is 21.5 with over the marginal favour at -120.
Yeah, I mean, they also met in the French Open Juniors on clay back in 2018, and Nakashima won that 6-3, 6-2 as well. So, yeah, the head-to-head certainly favours Nakashima. I mean, Hijikata's had a huge slice of luck on his side so far this week already. He came back from 6-2, 5-2, 30 love down to beat a choking Damir Zuma, who just completely lost it from that position. It would have been 1-100 in play there. Zuma managed to find a way to lose. And then after coming back from that situation, which he should have lost, he then got a walkover from Marijan, who withdrew due to sickness. So it's certainly been his week so far, Hijikata, as far as the luck is concerned, but you feel like it's not going to last. I expect Nakashima to win this one. As I said, he's beaten him twice on clay, where you would expect Nakashima to prevail. I mean, Hijikata's got no sort of record on clay at all, really. Grass and hard are probably his best surfaces. And the much bigger serve of Nakashima, it tends to be key in these conditions on a hard court. Hijikata's serving stats, which I'll talk about in a minute, aren't great. Nakashima's are. In 2024 at main level on this surface, outdoor hard, Nakashima 59% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 102. Hijikata 53% win rate and 97. So it's a good lead, a decent lead for Nakashima, and maybe not perhaps -500, but it's still a pretty solid lead. And in terms of service holds, Nakashima has held serve 87% of the time, compared to just 74% for Hijikata. So that's the area that Hijikata struggles in, really. His serve it certainly isn't strong. It's not completely weak, but it's very mediocre, I think, is probably the best description of the Hijikata service. And let's see what he's done against top 50 ranked opponents, Hijikata. This is probably the key. He's 4-15 win-loss against top 50 opponents in completed matches this season. So, very rare does he ever beat top 50. And Nakashima is 15-15, so he's won 50% of his matches, Nakashima, against top 50 opponents. I'm not sure I can see. I mean, Nakashima was a little fortunate yesterday against an inspired Coleman Wong. A couple of match points saved. One of them, it just missed the corner of the baseline and the sideline from Wong. He went for it and it just went slightly long. That had gone in. Nakashima's out of the tournament, but he came back strongly, won the tiebreak, and then won the deciding set pretty convincingly. Yeah, I mean, he should be winning this. I'm tempted here with the under 21.5 games at -106. I can't see Nakashima wanting to go 3 sets again in these conditions. I know it's getting a little bit cooler, but he's played a lot of tennis as Nakashima in the last sort of couple of months on the hard court swing in the Davis Cup and now over here. So, yeah, I'd probably tempted by under 21.5 games. I want to get with Nakashima in some way, but -500 is, it's pretty skinny. So potentially the unders there.
Yeah, under 21.5 is -107. The match starts at 1:30 a.m. Remember, all these matches start very early on Sunday morning. So when this podcast drops, if anything that Sean has suggested, any lean he suggested here that you like, head across to the Bet Rivers website and make sure you place that bet or the app early to make sure you avoid disappointment if the line moves. If you are having a bet and you have a winner, or if you want to oppose us, fade us, share your bet with us on the app Because We Win Instagram account or on the X account as well. Post your slips with Bet Rivers if you've had a winning bet or if you've had a losing bet, and oppose what we have to say here. We want to see those slips as well. Remember, there is a website we have now, Betting Weekly Studios, and we'll subscribe to the newsletter, which is coming very soon. At the start of next month, the newsletter will be coming out with some exclusive content, which will be coming out in the newsletter. So make sure you subscribe to the newsletter on Betting Weekly Studios. Download this podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, and obviously, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios as well. Lots of great content there. Huge amount of football. Massive soccer match tomorrow over here in the Premier League. Manchester City against Arsenal. There is some big picks there. My best bet of the weekend is on that match. And Jack Wright, our Premier League handicapper, has a same game parlay on the match as well. No official play then for tomorrow, Sean. Just a few leans, yeah?
All four of these leans will win. I can guarantee you that.
The leans have been doing all right, mate. The leans have been doing all right.
They have. They have. Even 1-1 won today, didn't it? O'Connell to win the first set against Massetti. So, I think they've been doing all right. There's nothing really strong enough for an official play, but that doesn't mean that these leans aren't going to win, that's for sure.
Yep. Have a good day. Enjoy the boxing this evening. It will be a great...
I'll enjoy the boxing. I don't know about after.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. That's the problem when you go to any sporting event now, isn't it? You getting home, and Wembley is obviously one of the worst places. If no one's ever been, it's one of the worst places to get out of after the... Once you see the knockout, don't do the post-match interviews. Get out as quickly as you possibly can and get on that train. Remember that? Remember the tip I gave you on the train? I won't repeat it in case anyone's watching the boxing and you want to get a nice quick journey home. But enjoy the boxing tonight, and you might get something from Sean on the Instagram account at Because We Win. Make sure you subscribe to
if I can get a signal.
If you might do before, after you got no chance. You'll get a picture. You'll get a picture of the cues. But anyway, that's it for today. That's it for the week. We'll be back next week. This will probably be it. This will be it for this tournament as well. Where are we going next? We got a.
I think Japan, it's Beijing and Tokyo.
Yeah, we're in Japan and Tokyo.
I think there's a slight problem with that because I think one draw is being done the day before the other one. I think the draw for Japan is on Tokyo is on the Monday, and I think Beijing's on the Tuesday. We might have to do one show for Beijing and one show for Tokyo. I don't know. It seems a bit weird. One's being done a full day before the other.
Well, we'll work it out somehow. Don't worry about it. If not, we can't do a show. We'll do a post on socials or something. But we'll work it out. We'll have you covered. If we got a bet, we'll
definitely do it. It might be one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. That might be how we do it.
That's how we do it. That's it for today. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck with all your bets across all the sports. Head across to the Bet Rivers website. A huge amount of tennis markets. Loads of stuff on the NFL. Really interesting start in the NFL. Lots of matches there covered from Bet Rivers as well. Enjoy the bets. Gamble responsibly. And have a great weekend. Take care.